in rehab here in Waupaca. And today we have the honor of having Casey Brown with us, Community Living Specialist with Waupaca County Aging and Disability Resource Center. So feel free to ask Casey any questions that you may have, or you've been hearing a lot about maybe, different options or whatnot. Casey's the gal that will hopefully have the answer, and if she doesn't, she'll find it.
Absolutely.
All right.
So one of the reasons I'm here today is talk about emergency preparedness. Very informal, so if you have questions, please ask. Also, if you have questions regarding Aging and Disability Resource Center, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have regarding that as well. So, emergency preparedness, why is it so important? Well, in case of an emergency, you want to make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have all of the things. And people are always thinking, oh my gosh, it takes so much time. Well, we've kind of reduced it, made it simple for you, given you some resources, and then there's a new campaign out that we're going to kind of go through. It's called Do One Thing, and the whole purpose of Do One Thing is there's 12 steps. Conveniently, there's 12 months in a year. You do one thing each month to prepare yourself for an emergency. So we're going to kind of go through that. I've also enclosed some of the Aging and Disability Resource Center information along with some free stuff. I give you a pen, a can koozie, and a magnet. So just so you know who we are, we're the one-stop shop for your information. So we'll go through the Do One Thing campaign, and that kind of ties into everything. Like I said, it's 12 months, 12 things that you can do to prepare yourself. If you're interested further about this, you can go online and they can send you little email updates as well. But I've printed pretty much everything that's online for you. And it's doonething.org. So. The second sheet, so get involved. The very first month is to just get involved, sign up, get yourself going with the emergency kits and being prepared. It goes through some of the things like becoming a volunteer for the Red Cross and part of an emergency if you want to sign up, or at join a neighborhood watch committee, things of that nature. So getting yourself out there and involved in case there's an emergency. The second step is to be informed, and this is making sure that everyone in your household understands and that you are ready to act on that information. So, do you know what to do when the emergency warning sign goes off? Do you know what those emergency warnings are? There's different types. There's the tornado warnings, there's snow warnings, there's all different types of stuff. So making sure you're informed on those different types of information, doing your research. One of the ways you can become informed is the weather alert radio. These are really nice. They plug into the wall, plus they are battery operated. This will alert you during any type of storm watch or warning. You can typically purchase these at Walmart or Kmart or any hardware store. They're usually low cost, about $10 to $20. Or you can contact our emergency management at Waupaca County and you can purchase one through them as well. So very, very nice thing to have. Third step is food, preparing your food for your emergency kit. So your non-perishable items, making sure you have at least a 3-day emergency food supply for your household. So canned goods, soups, things of that nature, but also making sure that you have those can openers, because some people have those electric can openers that are nice for everybody, but that's not going to help you in a power outage. So making sure you have that hand screw and it's all screwed once, so then it's all put together in one place for that. So just kind of 3-day supplies of your fruits, your vegetables, some soups, things of that nature. First aid kits are pretty important too, because typically if there's a tornado or some type of storm warning, there's usually some debris kind of around if your house gets hit or your neighborhood. So if you get that cut or your scrape, making sure you're prepared for those things and having that in your emergency kit. So Band-Aids, antiseptic wipes, things of those nature to have right there readily available. It doesn't have to be very big. It could just be a little kit. You can usually pick those up again at Walmart, or you probably have all of the supplies already at home. So just putting it in a little plastic bag and putting it by your non-perishable food. Water. You want to make sure that you have at least 72 hours of supply of water for you. So water bottles, water jugs, whichever you kind of prefer. Because if we have an emergency and something happens, you might not be able to get fresh water. So having that water supply to at least get you through, and it also might help with some of your non-perishable foods as well. So making a plan. What happens if your house gets hit by a tornado? What are you going to do? What are the steps going to be? How are you going to communicate with those around you? Cell phone towers are probably going to be down. I know that when I was little, the tornado hit in Waupaca, where I'm from, and we didn't have any contact with anybody for 5 days. And it was just mass chaos. Nobody could get a hold of anybody. So, but making sure you have that plan so that you can contact your loved ones and they can contact you back. The Red Cross does have a great system during those times of need that they will come and you can put your name into a database and your family and friends can look up that information so they know where you are if you're at a shelter. But making up a communication plan with your family and your loved ones, knowing where you're going to go and things of that nature. Again, the family communication plan, just kind of stressing that information. And if you have a family in the home and where you guys are going to go and what is going to happen, if you have loved ones at home and you're not there, where should they go, things of that nature. If you have unique family needs, so you have some health needs, you're diabetic or you have some heart issues or you're on oxygen, making sure that you have a plan for those things and knowing where you can get that supplies and knowing that people know that you have those issues. Sheltering. Identify the best storm shelter in case of an emergency. What's the best place for you to go? Do you need to go down to the road to a neighbor's home in case of an emergency? Or do you have something at your home? But also identifying that to your friends and your family so that they know where to look for you. Making sure that you have emergency procedures in place for your workplace or your school. And knowing those things, because sometimes when you're out in the community, they tend to strike up. So what should you do in those cases of an emergency, especially if you're here at the senior center? Do you know where the emergency shelters are? And then emergency supplies. This is what usually holds up people and thinking, oh, it takes so long to gather all of that information. Making sure you have that battery-powered radio or weather alert system. Making sure you have flashlights with batteries that are working and an extra set of batteries. Lightweight blankets down in your shelter. Making sure you have your emergency information, a list of all of your medications, some personal items that you might need like toothbrushes and extra glasses or contact lenses, the first aid kit, a whistle. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if you're down in your basement and your house has been toppled, how are emergency services going to know where you are? A change of clothing, because most likely your clothes are probably scattered across the neighborhood, so having those right there with you. Non-perishable foods or snacks again, and books, cards, or magazines to pass the time. That sounds kind of silly, but when you're down in those shelters, instead of kind of freaking out during that time, like I do.
You can watch TV.
Yeah, you can't watch TV, so.
Turn a fan on if it's in the summer.
Yeah. And then power. How are you? Do you know how to use a generator? I know I don't. So learning that stuff or where you can safely get a generator. Does a neighbor have one? Things of that nature. If there's a big power outage across town and it's affecting you. So knowing how you can keep your food still cold and you can still have some of that power and things of that nature. So that's the Do One Thing campaign. Sounds pretty self-sufficient. You do one thing each month and prepare yourself for an emergency, and then you just review it every year. So you're doing one thing each month to prepare, and you're not doing it all at one time and forgetting. It gets you to constantly keep remembering those things. So it's a great resource. On the right side, I have a little bit more information. I have the File for Life. I really push this not just for the elderly population, but for anybody out there. This alerts emergency services of your information, of any emergency information. So what you can do is put the sticker on your front door, and the emergency services know that you have a File for Life. The little code thing has a magnet on the back that you can put on your refrigerator, so emergency services is going to go straight to your refrigerator. On the inside is a whole bunch of information that you have your emergency contacts, your medical data, any medications that you might have, any medical conditions, allergies, and then your insurance. Because if you're non-responsive, you're not able to give them this information, and they can take this card right away, copy the information that they need, and go from there. So make sure you're getting your right medical care. The one thing is you got to keep it updated. Kind of tricky, especially if your medicines are changing. What I advise people to do is when you go to the doctor, 9 times out of 10, you get a little sheet saying what your new medications are and any new diagnosis. Stick that into your little file for life, and then you can have that.
Or write in pencil.
Or write in pencil. You can do that
That's what
too.
I do. Yep.
There's also one that you can keep in your wallet as well that emergency services can look for, or your purse.
So this is what like the ambulance crew or police crew would grab in case if your neighbor found you unresponsive. This is what they would first go to.
Good.
Very important. Keep it updated.
So are these available? I mean, like say somebody's not, Carol's not here, but Carol would like one. I mean, are these available for purchase, or the ADRC has these on file?
ADRC has them on file. You can come right to the Aging and Disability Resource Center and ask for a file for life, and we'd be happy to give them to you. I believe that Emergency Services also has them as well. So, or your EMS and your fire department should have some copies too. So, very, very important thing to have. I also have a couple other checklists, the 3-day emergency supplies that we kind of went through, just kind of giving you a check of what information that you might possibly use and might need to just put in a little bag to have in your storm shelter. And then for pets, don't forget your pets too during those storms, and in case of an emergency, they might, they need dog food and water and their medications and leashes and things of that nature as well. Then on the back, also stuff for your baby, and then some food suggestions, and then some first aid kit suggestions as well. So it kind of gives you just a little bit tool for that. And then as much as I would like to just bypass winter, but it is coming, there is a how to make a winter survival kit for your car. I know I have one, which is very important because I do drive to Waupaca every day. It's only 28 miles, but a lot can happen in that 28 miles. So making sure you have a shovel or a windshield scraper that can be used to help just in case you get in the ditch, a flashlight, along with a power radio as well, some water or snacks and foods, matches and a small candle, extra socks, mittens, hats, blankets, a first aid kit, tow chain or rope, maybe some road salt or sand that might help you out. Booster cables, those are really important. And then emergency flares, reflectors, your cell phone adapter, and again, a whistle. So all things to prepare yourself for. I know that whistle just kind of ties you up, but it makes a lot of sense. So make sure you're getting prepared for the winter. I know that I already got my blankets and my shovel in my car just because it stays in there all year round, but it's nice to have. Then I've also provided you a family communication log that you can put in your emergency kit. It gives you all the information of the people that live in your home with their date of birth and their important information such as medical information and social security numbers, where people should go in case of an emergency, family and friends, schools, shelters, things of that nature. This you can put in your emergency kit, or you can just put it usually on like your family communication log. But it's good to have in your emergency survival kit because you probably aren't going to go and grab your social security card or your birth certificate or any of that information for everybody in if there's a tornado. So this is good to have. It also gives you doctor's information and medical information as well. You can also put this right on your communication log or somewhere in your kitchen if you need that as well. It probably would be good to put a copy in your file for life, but a lot of that information is the same. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on was the code RED. This is something that Waupaca County offers. You can sign up on www.co.waupaca.wi.us. That's the county website. And from there you can log into the code RED system. What this helps with is it's another way to alert you for emergencies such as tornadoes, thunderstorms, flash flood warnings, and any other types of warnings, amber alerts, hazardous traffic, things of that nature. This is only central to Waupaca County right now, so this is their emergency system. It is a great way to kind of, you can put as many phone numbers as you want on there and just log your information so that when you're out and about. So, any questions from anybody? Yeah.
It's a question, it's a comment about the Amber Alert last time.
Yeah.
2 minutes after 5 went off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really gonna help somebody I can't even see. I suppose it's gotta do it when you
Yeah,
gotta
it's
do
got to
it.
go out.
It's gotta-
So,
I thought that
All
was
of a sudden my phone goes
good
beep,
for
beep,
them,
beep,
bad for the rest
like
of us. I
Amber.
guess.
yeah, it was a little frightening, wasn't it? But I mean, I'm glad that it's out there because
I didn't know it went off that early, but
it goes off as soon as they put it into the system, which is
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, nice,
So,
Is that,
it was a ways from our house, but yeah.
yeah.
is that the same for the silver alert thing now?
Yep, the silver alert. I don't think the silver alert comes off more as off of your phone. I don't know exactly how the silver alert really
Or they
comes
use
off.
relatively new
I know you
phone.
can. I know you can get updates and you can sign up for the silver alerts. The amber alert is more just a universal thing. It goes off of your phone, and unfortunately, you can't really turn it off. But it's also a really good thing. The silver,
yeah.
the silver alert. I think you can sign up for those notifications and get them onto your cell phone, and they usually come across as text messages. I do know if you're on Facebook, the Aging and Disability Resource Center, if you want to like our page, we put all of the silver alerts on there, or Christine really tries to put them on as much as we know in the area. So I know they try to get it on Facebook as much as
Can you just
possible.
let everybody know what the silver alert is?
The silver alert is a system kind of similar to the amber alert. Alerts those who are elderly, who have gone missing, or haven't had contact with their families. So it's works very similar to the amber alert, and then an alert will go off across your phone or in emails or off Facebook. The news usually gets it right away too. So
Does Waupaca have a shelter, a public shelter in case of a storm?
what happens is if there's because they can't just say the senior center is going to be the shelter, because what if the senior center it gets destroyed or is affected? So what the Red Cross comes in and he works with emergency management, and they set up shelters. Typically they're at schools or hospitals or senior centers, more welcoming places. But if they have to readjust that stuff, they're able to do that. But in case of an emergency, it's usually set up right after that emergency.
Okay, does the police let the person know, the homeowner, or
Yep.
how do you
Usually,
where do you go, or
yep, if you're a
Yes.
targeted affected area, you have the emergency management or Red Cross people kind of directing you, and they're going to want to work with you as much as possible, because your loved ones are going to want to get in touch with you. So the Red Cross is going to get your name and your information so your loved ones can get in contact with you. And it's all web-based right now. So if you have family that's out in California and your house gets destroyed by the tornado, they can go on the Red Cross website and they can look up your information and go, oh, they're at the senior center warming shelter. They've checked in. They're doing well. So
do they come around to your house to let you know in case the phone doesn't work? Or do
absolutely. As soon as there's an area, you have so many people surrounding you and looking for you. The fire department, the police department, emergency services, volunteers. You get lots of people to come and look for you, and making sure you're okay and get the proper help that you need. Perfect. Any other questions? And you can always contact emergency services too if you have information. They'd be happy to help you. That's their specialty. Or you can call the ADRC and we'd be happy to come out and help you too. Sorry, answer any questions you may have.
I see a phone number, where are you located, where's your office?
We are the Waupaca branch. We are in a consortium with Calumet, Outagamie, and Waupaca. So even if you contact any of those numbers or the toll-free number, you'll still get someone. But Waupaca County does have their own office. We are located in the courthouse on the second floor with Human
I
Services.
think I
So.
seen it somewhere. I
Yeah.
stay away from the courthouse.
I wonder why, Ron.
I see you, but you weren't there.
They said they paroled.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
coming out. And
Thank you, very interesting.
good.
Did you wanna just touch base on like the volunteer opportunities, if there was anything, or?
Sure. You can sign up through Red Cross. I think it's .org or .com to become a volunteer with the Red Cross, and you can help during, if in case of an emergency and you weren't affected, but one of the neighboring communities, you can go out and they do help provide hot meals or volunteers and handing out water and food to the emergency crews and things of that nature. So there's volunteer opportunities that way. If you're just looking to volunteer and wants to do some services to your community at this point, you can contact the Aging and Disability Resource Center. We do have tons of volunteer opportunities for people, and we're always looking for volunteers as well. So, lots of opportunities to help out your community.
Does anyone else have any questions for Casey, like in regards to what we've discussed today, and also any other topics that, you know, that are kind of geared towards the county or Aging and Disability Resource Center that you would have questions for? Because now's your time, she knows a lot. Like, is there anything with like the Medicare stuff or anything, or?
Yep, actually Medicare, it is open enrollment starting October 15th. So if you want to look at your supplement or an Advantage plan, you're not happy with it, or you want to look into further information, you can contact the ADRC and we can get you hooked up with talking to our elder or disability benefits specialist. Open enrollment is from October 15th to December 7th. Great time to look at your benefits and kind of see what else is out there for you. I do know a lot of the insurance plans are changing, so it's a good opportunity at this point. I do know that the benefits specialists are having hours throughout the community, and you'd have to call the ADRC. I think Peggy, our elder benefits, coming to the senior center.
Peggy was here like in March or April,
Okay.
but I do believe that she's coming back.
Yeah.
But not with
This,
but
the,
just
like she's
something.
having hours here and then at some of the meal sites as well, for people to come in, but you want to register for those things so she can give you adequate time, or you can call her right at the ADRC and she'd be happy to help you, or Karen Engel as well as the disability benefits specialist.
One last thing.
Sure.
Can you tell them what you do?
I am a community living specialist, and what I do is I work with people who are in the nursing homes. I'm a federally funded grant. We've been around since 2012. So I get referrals from the nursing homes and work with people to get them out of the nursing homes and back into their own homes or into an assisted living with maybe some of the public funding such as Medicaid services and family care services. So if you're ever in the nursing home, you can talk to your social worker, and I or my coworker Jennifer will come out and meet with you and kind of see what we can do to help you get back into the community and back in your home with supports and services if needed. Perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.